so that people out there can start to understand that you're in control of your mind, you're in control of your emotions, and you're in control of your abilities. And that you don't need to be stopped from your ability, and you don't need to be stopped from your mentality. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that are trying to stop you from what you want to become. And just like I ask all the time, if it's not motivation, if it's not meditation, if it's not inspiration, if it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And so, what I want to ask you guys out there is, what is it going to take to believe in yourself? What is it going to take for you to stop saying it's okay for me to do what others and start to focus on my dreams, focus on my goals, and focus on my ability? And so, we sometimes look from a specific angle instead of looking from multiple angles, and one of those ways that I've started to find it open up is by keeping your eyes open, to be aware, to be able to recognize that as challenges are coming, you are the solution to your own challenges. You can find a way to help other people at the same time grow. And so, how many of us out there are actually growing? How many are in a place where nobody else would go, and with an ability to find ourselves? And I don't think that there's too many who recognize what their true value is and their true ability. And so, when you're in a place, when you're going through a challenge and you don't see a way up, sometimes the place that you're in, just being aware of that challenge, being aware of that place where you can truly grow, where you can truly become yourself, can be the reason why the process that you're going through is there. And a lot of times it's with the blindfolds on that we find ourselves, that we find that we already have inside of us what it takes. And there's a tremendous amount of growth that comes when you fail. There's a tremendous amount of growth that comes when failure becomes your reason, right? And so sometimes we are looking at other people and what they're getting and what they're achieving, instead of looking at what we have and what ability we can utilize and where our mentality goes. And so if you look at the way that you're thinking, generally the path will actually become the result. So if you're looking to achieve something great, but you're not willing to put in the time, you're not willing to put in the effort, then don't expect the results. Don't expect that this great universe that we live in is going to yield. Because it yields to the one who thinks. It yields to the one who puts the thought and the ability. That's what the Egyptians understood. That to be great, you have to free your mind. You have to free your ability to actually have the ability for thought to work in your life. And a lot of the times, we try to take it for ourselves. So when we put the thought in a place where we have the ability to grow and to help other people at the same time, that is when it opens up. It's not when we're trying to do. We're looking for a way out instead of looking for a way in and an ability to overcome our challenges. Because challenges, they're going to come your way. Handicaps, they're going to come your way. It's up to you to find the ability to overcome those things. Give me 1 second. When the mind... No, I'm okay. I do hope that your day is blessed, okay?
Hey, friends, have a good day.
All right. Of who we are. Like, I think that our minds are our biggest reflection. In other words, what I'm saying is, if you're wanting to achieve your dreams, if you're wanting to achieve your goals, but you're not putting in the time and the effort, then when others, like, I remember being in San Diego and at La Mesa Shopping Center, and there was a guy who was making $20,000 a month on shoes. Okay, repairing shoes. Yep. All right.
Those are in the bag.
Cool. Have a blessed. So he was only repairing shoes, and his family had been repairing shoes in multiple stores, and they had been grinding on what they wanted to achieve. It's the ones that are going after their dreams, that are going after their goals, and going after their abilities. Did you notice I didn't say not ability? Okay, it's not about what you don't have. And a lot of people out there, they don't get that. They don't get that it's not what you don't have, it's what you do have and what you do with what you got, okay? So, like, for instance, I'm out here in Arizona, and I love to drive. And so I start driving my car, start doing Uber and Lyft, and I start to see that, okay, like a lot of people, they're like, oh no, Uber's gonna be around forever. Bro, that's not gonna be around forever. That's gonna be going away with the autonomous vehicles, okay? So, what's a way that you could look at that situation? You could look at that situation and say, oh no, I'm gonna let myself fail. Or you could look at that situation and say, oh no, I'm gonna let myself succeed. And so how do you look at your situation and succeed? How do you put it in a place where nobody else can go, that you can achieve your dreams? And it's kind of interesting that the Egyptians actually, they thought of thought is a process, is an ability for your self to find a reason to achieve and to problem solve. And as we're going through challenges, what can we do to achieve our dreams? What can we do to achieve our goals? And a lot of the times we let others' thoughts influence our ability. And those people that are in the silence, that are working on craft, working on their goals, their ability is coming from their thought process. It's coming from their ability to find themselves and to truly be who they are inside. And so, like, for instance, in progression of meditation, keeping your eyes open, being aware. You see, a lot of times we're taught to close our eyes, to center ourselves, to block out the things that are going on around us. But who teaches you to be aware of your situations, aware of your surroundings, and aware of your abilities? So, in the true path of self, the true path of ability is you. And you're the center of your journey. You are the center of your path, and you are experiencing things on a daily basis. But are we taking the time? Are we taking the ability to recognize what we're made of, what it means to be you? And there's a lot out there that don't do that. There's a lot out there that don't even realize that you can liberate your mind, liberate your ability inside of who you are, because they're part of the construct. They're part of this great mechanism that says that things have to be this certain way, and if anyone is outside of that specific way, then it's taught in our systems of school. And the thing is that you can also utilize the teachings in school. You can utilize the ability to write things down, to speak things out, to communicate what you listen to, what you program your mind with. You can learn to use your tools. to overcome your challenges. But it's got to come from within. It's got to be a part of the whole entire self, which comes from the branch itself of discipline, where focus and knowledge and whole self and whole being becomes a purpose, where it becomes so great inside that the only thing you want to do is help other people. And see, that's where we come up with solutions, and that's where the universe yields back. When you're willing to help other people, when you're willing to put in the effort, the time, the ability. So the question is, like, when I went through scouting, I got my Eagle Scout. And on the Eagle Scout, they ask you, are you going to ever return the favor for everything that you learned? And see, the thing is you learn how to camp, you learn how to cook, you learn how to do all these different things. But are you able to share that part of yourself to where you grow, and at the same time, you're able to help other people grow as well? And that's where learning our lessons and as a community growing ourselves to the point where nobody else can take that from you. See, that's what the biblical talks about with self-reliance. It talks about a way to have a need to be yourself. You hearing what I'm saying? I'm not saying not a need to be yourself. I'm saying a need to be who you are. A need to be the person that you are inside. A need to have a reason for everything that you're doing on a daily basis and a yearly basis, weekly, monthly. And for that purpose, you can find a reason to grow. And inside of your growth, you're going to learn lessons. You're going to have failures. You're going to have things that are going to be positive and negative